Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, June 4, reveal that Ciara Brady Weston's kids will happily meet Grandpa Beau Brady, but Shawn Brady will deliver bad news. Will Horton will also make a sad phone call, so let's discuss what's coming up on Days. As more of John Black's loved ones get updates on his grim fate, it'll bring some difficult blows. It looks like Will's going to get on the phone and spread the word, so he may fill Ari Horton in on the loss. Will may also get in touch with Sonny Kiriakis and receive some comfort now that John's gone. Marina Evans will get plenty more comfort as well thanks to Will, Carrie Brady Reed, Chanel Dupree Demera, Johnny Dimmer Paul Narita, and Andrew Donovan. As for Andrew and Paul, Days spoilers say they'll make a big decision about their future on Wednesday's DOL episode. Since Paul and Andrew were planning a Salem wedding before John passed away, they'll decide to stick to their plan. Andrew and Paul will know that John would want them to tie the knot ASAP, so they'll intend to move forward with their nuptials soon. Of course, Paul and Andrew will presumably want to wait until after John's funeral, but their wedding celebration could lift some spirits in the aftermath. Other Days spoilers say Beau's recent coma awakening will bring more joy for his own family members. Ciara, Shawn, and Hope Brady will enjoy reconnecting with Beau, but Shawn will let them know that John didn't make it. It'll be hard for Beau to accept that John passed away saving his life, but he'll certainly appreciate John's heroic efforts. Shawn may blame himself for putting Beau in a coma in the first place, but Beau will sternly assure his son that he's not at fault. On a lighter note, Ciara will bring her children to meet their grandpa, so Beau is about to interact with little Beau Weston and Addie Weston. There will be some adorable scenes as Beau tries to make up for lost time. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Beau's amazing recovery will continue to offset the awful loss of John, so stay tuned. Yesterday, we said farewell to John Black on Days of Our Lives as Marina held him and comforted him until he breathed his final breath. Today, word of his passing is spreading throughout Salem, and those closest to him are mourning in a way that feels all too real. Part of that is because we, as Days of Our Lives viewers, have also come to love John dearly in the past 4 decades that he's been in our living rooms. But part of that is also because we know that farewell comes with the real-life loss of Drake Hogestyn, who died in September of last year after fighting his own battle against pancreatic cancer. Kristen tearfully tells Brady how sorry she is and how John was loved by so many, including her. Brady's still a bit in shock, though. They talk about what to do about Rachel, and Kristen knows it'll hit her hard. She tells Brady about the nightmare, then moves on to telling him about EJ promising to bring her mom back. Brady doesn't get why Kristen would do that, then gets upset when she says she bargained for keeping quiet about Johnny. What about our daughter? Is she supposed to keep this secret for the rest of her life? Of course not. She can talk to her therapist. Brady demands to know what would happen if EJ decides to silence Rachel. He wouldn't, Kristen says, sounding less than certain. Kayla heads into the pub to break the news to Roman. It's John. He died last night. Roman assures her she did all she could, and Kayla tells him that Steve's making calls to Shane and Andrew. Roman gets emotional as he recalls how much good John did for him, even when he was living his life. Kayla agrees, saying no matter what, John was part of the family. He was another brother. Hope calls with the happy news about Beau, leaving both siblings in shock. They didn't tell her about John, though, not wanting to take her happiness away. 48 hours ago, Beau was given his last rites, and we were waiting to welcome John home, Roman notes in sad wonder. Kayla goes to the hospital to get John's personal items, and Roman goes with her. Julie's home when Hope calls with good news for once. Beau's awake, and Julie says, crying out in joy, it's all because of John Black. She hangs up and hurries over to a photo of her and Doug to tell him the good news. I know you had something to do with this too. It's Belle's turn to bring Marlena some tea after Abe and Paulina leave to get some pastries. There's another knock at the door, this time an excited Julie wanting to share the great news about Beau. She goes on for a moment or so before she sees Marina near tears. John is gone. She gets out and Julie's face falls. She hugs Marina, apologizing, telling her she'll be there for Marina, just like she was there for her. They hug again as Abe and Paulina get back with boxes from Sweet Bits. Julie gets moving, putting the pastries in the kitchen for everyone as they come to see Marina, while the others stand sadly in the living room. Abe gently asks if she gave any thought to the funeral. "No, I haven't," she cries, but before they can get much farther, EJ shows up at the door. Marina lights into him when he says he came to pay his respects. Belle hears the commotion and comes out to the living room, telling EJ her mom has had enough visitors and pulling him away. With them gone, Julie cautiously comes back out to sit with Marina, but she barely sits down when Roman and Kayla show up with John's things. Roman pulls Marina in for a hug, and Kayla tells Marina the good news about Beau. "Oh, well that's wonderful news," Marina says, nodding and smiling when the Bradys tell her John's a true hero, but she can't keep the tears away for long. Kayla tells Marina she's going to have Kat cancel all her appointments, but Marina doesn't know what she'd do with herself staying home. Right now, Kayla tells her, the person you need to take care of is yourself. When Kayla offers to put John's things in the other room, Marina insists she wants to see them now. She opens the bag, rifles through, and turns to ask if it's everything. She doesn't see the gold coin. Out in the square, EJ asks if Belle wants to get any coffee, but she doesn't want to see anyone she knows. Then she demands to know what EJ was thinking coming over when half her family doesn't even know her dad's gone yet. EJ gently tells her he wanted to be there for her as soon as he heard the news. That's when he tells her he loves her, getting a bit giddy as he approaches her, and Belle pushes him away. She can feel her dad's presence, wanting her to make the right choices. She wants to honor him and do what she thinks he'd want. Abe and Paulina get back home, tired but unable to sleep. Paulina tells Abe about a book she read, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. All that matters is how people come together and support each other when tragedy strikes. That's where you find God. Abe recalls how good a friend John was and how honored he was to marry John and Marina. "I just hope he knew how much I loved him." Paulina holds Abe, assuring him John knew. They let each other know how grateful they are to be there together. Out in the living room, Julie offers to get Roman and Kayla something from the pastries, but they aren't hungry. Roman says they should start making calls to everyone. Marlena's back on her bed, looking at a photo of her and John kissing at Christmas, and holds it close to her. She sets it back down, hugs herself, and starts crying. She checks her phone and notices a voicemail from John. She missed it somehow, one last message from her husband when he was coming home. She hits play, and we just hear John's voice say, "I love you, Doc." Marlena plays it over and over again, tears running down her face. "I love you." Days of Our Lives spoilers and updates for the next 3 weeks. June 2 to 20 reveal happy reunions, sad goodbyes, and many returns to Salem. Beau Brady wakes from his coma, causing a happy reunion, while there's a sad goodbye to John Black. The week of June 2 to 6 will feature Zach Brady's angelic visit before Beau Brady wakes up and reconnects with all his family in the living world. Hope Brady will be overjoyed, along with Ciara Brady Weston, who will gladly allow little Beau Weston and Addie Weston to meet their grandpa. Shawn Brady will also feel relieved that Beau made it, particularly since he has always felt responsible for his father's coma. Beau will have the opportunity to comfort Shawn and assure him that this was never his fault. Many will be happy about Beau waking up, but there will be a lot of tears for John as he passes away in the hospital, Marlena Evans by his side. Other days spoilers reveal that Jack Devereaux and Jennifer Horton Devereaux are returning to Salem. It won't take long before Jennifer starts to panic over Chad Dimara's date with Kat Green and their clear chemistry. Meanwhile, Doug Williams' II will confide in Leo Stark. This might lead to a discussion about Doug's unresolved feelings for Holly Jonas, as well as the new sparks he's experiencing with Ariana Ari Horton. On another note, Ari will find herself in yet another significant clash with Gabby Hernandez. With Will Horton back in town, he might find himself caught up in the ongoing tension between Ari and Gabby at some point. Meanwhile, Tate Black and Sophia Choi are on a tour of the hospital, which might bring the reality of their child's impending birth even closer. As Sophia approaches her due date, her connection with the baby could deepen significantly. Will she be swayed to abandon her adoption plans to keep her son or daughter after all? How will Tate react if Sophia chooses that path in the end? During the week of June 9 to 13, Tony DiMera is set to make his return to Salem. Anna DiMera is also gearing up for her own comeback soon, making it a treat to see both Tony and Anna back on screen together. However, it will ultimately lead to a heartfelt farewell as John's funeral service approaches. John deserves a hero send-off, as that's precisely what he is. Marina will have to navigate a whirlwind of emotions as she adjusts to life as a new widow. John's children and grandchildren will also struggle as they confront this sorrowful goodbye. During the week of June 9 to 13, Tony DiMera is poised to return to Salem. Anna DiMera is also preparing for her own return shortly, making it a delight to see both Tony and Anna back on screen together. However, this will ultimately lead to an emotional farewell as John's funeral service draws near. John deserves a hero's send-off, as that's exactly what he is. Marina will have to navigate a storm of emotions as she adjusts to her new life as a widow. John's children and grandchildren will also face challenges as they deal with this painful goodbye. The week of June 16 to 20 is expected to bring some happiness back to Salem with a wedding on the horizon. Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan were looking forward to getting married with John present, but he will still be there in spirit during their ceremony. John would have been the first to encourage Andrew and Paul to proceed with their wedding plans. It will be a bittersweet moment since John can't attend, but Paul and Andrew will have many supporters celebrating this special day. In the meantime, updates on Xander Kyriakis and his legal situation should be coming soon. A recently revived Philip Kyriakis could bolster the case against Xander, making it even harder for him to escape the charges. However, fans of Days know that people in Salem often evade consequences for their actions, at least for a short time. Xander is quite a cunning character who might find a way to avoid punishment, even if it means resorting to blackmail or bribery. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives indicate that the next 3 weeks will bring bold actions and significant news, so be sure to catch all the excitement. Days of Our Lives spoiler are in for Tuesday, June 3, 2025. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect John Black to die. Marlena Evans breaks down. Belle Black withdraws from EJ DiMera. Plus, Kristen DiMera opens up to Brady Black. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the Peacock soap opera. Let's begin with the heartbreaking news that John does not survive his ordeal. Kayla Johnson has alerted Steve Johnson to the fact that John's body is beginning to shut down. There is nothing that the doctors can do, and it's just a matter of time before John is gone. In the meantime, Marlena is lying beside her husband. Doc is determined to be there until the very last moment, and even then, it will be hard for Marlena to let go of the man she loves. Once John's heart stops, Marlena will let loose all of those emotions she's been carrying for days. The grieving widow will break down once John is gone. There will be so many thoughts, memories, regrets, and love for John. Now Marlena will have to plan John's funeral and try to figure out how to move on without him. Days of Our Lives spoilers for tomorrow's episode reveal that Belle will pull back from EJ. While EJ will want to be there for Belle, the lawyer will pull back from him. The feelings will be complicated, and Belle needs to process everything that's happened. What makes it worse is that Belle really doesn't have anyone to blame. The people responsible are dead, and now the hero has died as well. In the next episode, fans will also see Kristen open up to Brady. Kristen doesn't know that John is dead yet, so Kristen's main concern will be what Rachel Black told her about Johnny DiMera. Rachel is having nightmares, and her stress is manifesting itself in physical ways, like stomach pain. At the same time, Rachel didn't see Johnny shoot EJ. Still, the longer that Rachel keeps this inside, the messier things can get. Kristen's chat with Brady might be interrupted by the news of John's death. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Tuesday, June 2, 2025? Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal a budding romance between Kat Green and Chad DiMera. While most people in Salem are rooting for them, there is a super couple that's returning to town who will be less than enthused to find out that the twosome is slowly but surely heading toward a relationship. Days of Our Lives spoilers imply that Jennifer Horton Devereaux and Jack Devereaux will return to Salem during the Thursday, June 5 episode, and by the time Friday, June 6 hits, Jennifer will be disgusted at Chad connecting with Kat, and she'll let it be known. On the one hand, DOL fans can understand why Jennifer has such disdain for Kat, considering she attempted to fool the entire family and paraded around as Jen's late daughter, Abigail DiMera. Jen found it impossible to believe that Kat was Abby from the get-go, and she was right. When the truth came out, normally sweet Jennifer turned into a nasty one where Kat was concerned, and no one could really blame her. Still, everyone knows that Kat was a good person put in a terrible situation and was being blackmailed by Clyde Weston. Surely, just like most of the town, Jen can move past this too. While Jack and Jen are merely in-laws, Chad does love them. After all, they are the grandparents to his children, Thomas DiMera and Charlotte DiMera. Considering how close he is to Jack and Jennifer, could his mother-in-law become a thorn in the side of his budding romance with Kat? Will he try to reason with Jen? Will she begin to see what he sees when it comes to Kat? Even J.J. Devereaux has somewhat come around where Kat is concerned. Then again, what if Jen takes a harsh stance about Kat spending any time with Abigail's children? Could this also cause issues? Will Jennifer deter Chad from a romance with Kat? Tune into the Peacock Soap Daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit this site often for the best Days of Our Lives spoilers, updates, and news. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, June 3 indicate some emotional moments in Salem. It'll be a sad day in the little town as they say goodbye to a loved one. Plus, someone has a confession to make, and another pulls away from their partner. What's said to unravel on Tuesday's show? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, June 3 hint that Salemites will reel as the news about John Black's passing makes its way across town. Many will grieve the loss of a loved one. However, no one will grieve quite as much as Marina Evans. Read this. Days of Our Lives spoilers next 2 weeks. John's goodbye, Beau's reunion, Philip awakens. In fact, fans need to brace themselves for an emotional breakdown from her. No one can blame Marina for spiraling in this fashion. After all, she just lost the love of her life. With that said, Marina has a tough road up ahead. Across town, as Brady Black grieves the loss of his father, his ex will approach him with a confession of sorts. It sounds like Kristen DiMera will confide in Brady during Tuesday's show. Will she inform him about what Rachel Black recently told her regarding E.J. DiMera's shooting? Rachel told her mom she saw Johnny DiMera arguing with his dad, and the young man had a gun. Kristen turned this around on EJ and blackmailed him into telling her where her mom is, Rachel Blake. So will Kristen fill Brady in on everything? Speaking of EJ, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday suggests that Belle Black will need support, but it sounds like she'll push EJ away. Considering the history her dad John had with EJ and his father Stefano Dimera, it's understandable that she may not want to turn to him at this time. But what will this mean for their romance? What storyline are you most interested in seeing unfold during Tuesday's show? Share your thoughts. Tune into the Peacock Soap Daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit SOS often for the best days of our lives spoilers, updates, and news. Tune into the Peacock Soap Daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit SOS often for the best days of our lives spoilers, updates, and news. Marlena's grief was heartbreaking to watch in the Tuesday, June 3 episode of Days of Our Lives. Marlena's friends and family tried to comfort her in any way they could, but were also grieving for John. Marlena probably wanted to delay having to share her grief for a little while longer, but ultimately, she had to come out of her bedroom and face it. Belle couldn't believe she didn't get to be by John's side when he passed away. But his health quickly took a turn for the worse, and so here they were. She had to hear that he died from Brady. As soon as Marlena entered the main room, Belle went to her and hugged her, and the grief from everyone felt so palpable. Meanwhile, Marlena's emotions run the gamut throughout the entire episode. There were times when she showed anger, like with EJ, who suddenly dropped by. She showed patience with the people who visited, even though you could tell she didn't want so many people around her. And when she heard about Beau, she was happy that he had woken up. After all, it was a miraculous event that happened courtesy of her husband. But at the same time, while Beau was awake, she had lost her husband. Her face showed the conflicting emotions. The hug between Marlena and Julie was especially poignant since Julie recently lost the love of her life. But as is what happens in these situations when someone dies suddenly and so unfairly, there was an awkwardness to some of these visits. And there were decisions to delay telling family members what happened, letting them sleep before they heard this shocking news. Plus, Marlena, the therapist, actually expressed interest in going back to work. But Kayla had to remind the good doctor that distractions weren't going to help. She needed rest and to spend time with her family and friends, and she needed to take care of herself and let herself grieve. It was beyond emotional to watch because it felt and looked so real. And Deidre Hall, well, she was simply amazing in Tuesday's episode. She had us in tears, feeling Marlena's every emotion, especially that voicemail message at the end. Everybody has been saying what a good man and a hero John Black was. And Belle immediately took this to heart after EJ dropped by Marlena's townhouse so early in the morning to give his condolences. He wanted to be there for Belle, but he didn't think about what his presence would mean to the others, like Marlena, who despised him. Belle grabbed him and took him to Horton Town Square, where she invoked her dad's memory and his goodness. EJ, in his best comforting voice, told Belle that he loved her. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get the same response back. Instead, Belle had a wake-up call or an epiphany or whatever you want to call it. She said her dad would want her to make the right decisions, and what they were doing was probably not that. She wanted to respect his wishes, and she walked away. So is this the end of Belle and EJ for good? What do you think about that? And much like the show's amazing flashbacks, which they've been playing in honor of John Black, what are your favorite memories of the character? Let us know in the comments. Nary a dry eye was found across Days of Our Lives fandom as viewers watched John Black take his last breath. Before Drake Hogestyn died in September 2024, he approved the storyline that would become John's final send-off. Many characters whose lives were connected to John returned to pay their respects and give him the hero's exit that he deserved. Among them was Greg Vaughn's Eric Brady, and the actor discussed his thoughts on John's last story. Vaughn spoke with TV Insider and explained that there's not enough time in the day to tell you all the great things about Drake Hogestyn. He praised his erstwhile co-star for putting his family first when he wasn't at work, and then giving the show 100% of his energy and attitude. I cherish the conversations and the stories we had, he remarked. adding that they were in constant communication until Hogestyn's end. The actor further noted that participating in John's final scenes was not something that they were running to work over, as it was a very somber occasion. He felt the day of shooting was extremely difficult for cast and crew alike, especially as many struggled to work on those scenes. And while he thought Eric's return for the story was a nice gesture, he stated, "I wish it was under better circumstances." Despite the difficult time everyone had getting through the scenes, Vaughn praised Hogestyn's family for their support. "Drake's family, his wife, approved of this story, so I thought that was really just a wonderful gesture, and the way they wrote it was a nice touch." Because Hogestyn was also a father figure to him, Vaughn explained that the actor always had wisdom and advice to impart upon him. He felt blessed that Hogestyn had been in his life, and he appreciated how his friend always asked how Vaughn's kids were doing. "He is dearly missed and very loved, and his memory will forever be cherished and remembered." Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, June 4, celebrate Beau's return to his family, while Marina continues trying to process losing John for good. Paul and Andrew's news may help. Hope called Shawns and Ciara to Beau's bedside because she assumed this was the end. Shawns wasn't quite ready to say goodbye to his dad quite yet, so he broke into a Salem University hospital lab with Steve and John and stole a medication that might save Beau's life. And it did. Now, Hope, Shawns, Ciara, and the rest of the Hortons and Bradys have something to celebrate, even as they also mourn. John was the one who made it possible for Beau to get the drug that saved his life, but he ended up giving his life in return. Marina keeps trying to stay strong for her family, dismissing her earlier breakdown and pressing on. All of Salem rallies around her, but they know that, in the end, there is little they can do. Time will just have to take its course. Maybe this will help. Paul and Andrew are getting married. This has been a long time coming. They kept getting distracted by ISA missions with John and Marina, and, presumably, other people too. It was just never the right time. Now seems like an excellent time. John would have celebrated their marriage. It's what he would have wanted. Maybe Paul's mother will even return. We've been ignoring her lately. He does have one. And Marina has no problems with her. Heck, they both loved John. She can be supportive too. Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the June 4, 2025 episode tease a life-changing hello and goodbye. It's going to be a bittersweet day in Salem as loved ones welcome back Beau, while Salemites grieve the loss of John. Everyone will gather to comfort Marina, while Will gets what looks like a tough phone call. He'll later reconnect with Carrie, while Paul and Andrew prepare to move forward with their wedding. Meanwhile, Beau is awake and reunited with his family. Ciara and Shawns welcome back their dad, and it appears Beau will reassure his son that he's not to blame for what happened. Later, Beau will meet his grandson and namesake. Days of Our Lives fans, I hope that you have had your box of tissues handy because losing John Black this week really hit hard. And I felt like it was a cruel twist by the writers to have Kayla Brady tell the family that John was making progress and would likely survive. That happened on Friday. And then on Monday, John's health took a rapid turn for the worst, and he died in Marlena Evans' arms. And this week and next week, we're going to see more big returns to Salem as mourners show up to memorialize Super Spy John, who of course was a devoted family man, a good friend, and a true hero. In today's comings and goings update, we're going to talk about who is headed to Salem to mourn the loss of John. Already, we've seen a few people that showed up to rally around Marlena after John was injured in the explosion and things look bad, and then look good, and then, of course, came out awful. First, we had Carrie Brady, and of course, Paul Narita has been part of the Find John Black story for a while. He was also there at his dad's bedside. We have seen some really sweet classic footage of Christy Clark as young Carrie, who was raised by John during the time he thought he was Roman Brady, and her mom Anna DeMero wasn't always around. So Marlena and John were like parents to her. Look for more of Carrie Brady this week as she consoles Marlena and helps prepare for John's funeral. Plus, Paul was there helping search for John alongside his fiancé, Andrew. And Paul was also there to make sure John made it back to Salem after that ISA mission went off the rails. But then Steve Johnson called John to tell him about the Bo Brady crisis and the Versics and the expertise they needed for their little heist at the meth lab. And that's when John swerved and made a detour before coming home. And of course, the lab explosion gave John his fatal wounds, but he saved the Versics, and that saved Bo. So, as John was dying on Monday, Shawn Brady get the terrible news about John's death. And Bo finds out all of them are going to pack off back home to Salem to say their sad goodbyes. And speaking of Paul, his fiancé Andrew is in Salem very soon. So look for scenes with Colton Little. And then once he's back, Paul and Andrew decide they are going to stick with their upcoming wedding plans. They think John would want that. I agree. We've also heard whispers that Charles Shaughnessy is back. And of course, he plays Shane Donovan, who is the chief of the ISA and very close to John, and has been for a long time. So Shane could come to Salem not only to say goodbye to John, but also to attend his son Andrew's wedding to Paul. And given the wedding spoilers, I have to wonder if we might get Emily O'Brien back for an episode or two as Theresa Donovan for her brother Andrew's wedding and John's funeral. They mentioned the other day that Andrew and Theresa's mom's cancer was better, so that kind of clears the path. Maybe we will see Theresa, and she can have a little visit with her son Tate Black. So we'll see. We've also already seen Chandler Massey back as Will Horton, John and Marlena's firstborn grandson, but we do not know whether we're going to see his husband Sonny Kyriakis back in Salem. And if you remember, Sonny was last played by Zach Tinker. But you know who is in town just in time to mourn John. It's going she's already in town and things take a turn. She's very upset about it. But the daughter that Will, Sonny, and Gaby Hernandez share is Ariana Horton. And of course, she arrived shortly after her great-grandfather John was hospitalized. She came back right during the time of the explosion and everything. But again, no word yet on whether her dad Sonny will join them for the Sad Days of Our Lives funeral. And of course, we keep hearing about Sami Brady and Sydney DiMera trying to catch a flight back to Salem. I do expect Allison Sweeney, but we will have to wait and see if she shows up with Sydney, who has not been seen in forever. And if Sami does bring Sydney, is she going to be a Saurus teen? Maybe. We'll also have Leon Hunley and Thao Penglis back this week as Anna DiMera and Tony DiMera. They are back to attend the service and may stay a little while. Tony and John, of course, go way, way back. So it'll be sad to see Anna and her husband saying goodbye to their longtime friend John. And did I mention keeping tissues on hand? You will definitely need them. I already did on Monday. And honestly, knowing what was ahead and with all the flashback footage, I have been dipping into my tissue box kind of all of last week as well. And I'm confident the next two I'm going to need to get a bigger box. So other returns this week include Matthew Ashford and Missy Reeves back as Jack Deveraux and Jennifer Deveraux. They are on hand to support Marlena and her family and say goodbye to John. But Kat Green may be less than happy to see Abigail Deveraux' parents back in Salem. Once Jennifer finds out Chad DiMera took Kat out on a date and that they've become fast friends, Jen is going to totally lose it. And two others that we wonder if we might see for John's funeral are his father and someone else close to him. So it would absolutely be great to see Dick Van Dyke back as Timothy Robichaud, John's dad, even if it's just for one episode. You know, if you recall, Drake Hogestyn and Van Dyke were gym buddies, and he asked Drake if there were any roles for old guys on Days of Our Lives. And Drake asked and got him a part, and then was quite surprised knowing that they had cast his friend as John's dad, Timothy. So hopefully we will see the tireless 99-year-old actor Dick Van Dyke back on set for the funeral. Also, we have to wonder if Madame Vivian Alamain is going to sneak back into Salem to mourn the passing of her Alamein nephew this month. Expect a sad, sad funeral, very sad funeral as we say goodbye to John, with some tributes to, of course, the real-life loss of Drake Hogestyn, who passed away last September. It's going to be a big memorial for John Black. And we don't know, I think, all of the returns. I'm expecting that they may pull out some surprises that they've kept hidden. It's hard to keep a lot of things hidden because they shoot so far ahead and word leaks out.